In today's Wonderbag recipe video, we're going to take the humble butternut and pop it into the amazing Wonderbag to create a creamy butternut soup that is perfect for these cool winter days. If you haven't yet subscribed to my sustainability journey, please do. I'm going to be sharing a lot more Wonderbag recipes, and if you have a look at my other videos, you'll see I teach you how to grow a whole bunch of stuff within urban spaces as well. So please subscribe to get the latest and greatest Wonderbag recipes, other recipes, and a whole bunch of other awesome things. So without further ado, let's get into how you turn this into a delicious, creamy butternut soup. So the very first thing you are going to need is a decent sized butternut. One decent sized butternut is all you need to make this soup, and it makes 4 to 5 servings. So a little goes quite a long way with this soup recipe. If you have small butternuts, then use 2 of them, but I would suggest trying to find a large butternut just so that you can get your proportions right. You then want to peel it, and at the same time you want to put your peels on the side so that you can dehydrate those and turn them into butternut powder. That is a great addition to any meals, especially something like mince and stocks and soups. You then want to take the tops and bottoms off so that you can easily cut them and cube them. At the same time, when you cut the butternut open, you want to clear it out in terms of seeds and any of the loose flesh on the inside. The seeds you also want to keep on the side because those can be dehydrated and turned into beautiful butternut seeds. You then want to take the butternut and cube them into probably 2 to 3 centimeter pieces. Nice chunky cubes, but nothing too big. And set them aside and get ready to get the rest of the ingredients and start bringing your butternut soup to the boil. In terms of what you need next is some stock. Here we have some flexibility around vegetable or chicken stock. You then need a handful of sage, a whole bunch of thyme, some mixed spice, allspice. With the spice I would recommend something with cinnamon, some pepper, salt, virgin olive oil, some measuring spoons, and very importantly, you then need some cream of sorts. I prefer coconut cream because it adds a lot of depth of flavor. Then you need to get your pot onto the stove. Flames, whichever way you want to cook. Add in your olive oil, put in all of the cubed butternuts that you have just spent time beautifully cubing, and you want to try and bring this to as much of a boil as possible. It obviously won't properly boil because there isn't a lot of water in it, but you will start seeing when the boiling point is being reached. Then you can add in your stock. Your stock is then going to start bringing the pot to boil, and it's going to start infusing a lot of the flavors. And at this point we want to just let it boil for a couple of minutes just to get the flavors all mixed up and infused together. Once it's boiling beautifully, we then want to start adding in the other ingredients. So give it a quick little stir so that all the flavors can mix up. We then add in the sage and the thyme, and at this point we want to once again just give it a bit of a stir so we can get all of those really strong herb flavors mixed in and distributed nice and evenly. This is going to add beautiful flavor and some further depth of flavor to your soup. Then you want to very importantly add in your allspice or mixed spice. Like I mentioned, cinnamon is key to this. If you don't like cinnamon, then obviously you want to skip this step, or add in just some other spices, maybe something like Italian herbs, but then it's not going to be a very fruity, rich. It's going to be more of a light and herbaceous soup. Either way, herbs are very, very important to the overall taste, texture, and flavor. Then put in some salt. I worked on 1/4 teaspoon. You can salt it to flavor, and some pepper. Salt and pepper pretty much makes most dishes, so go by what you usually do in cooking. I'm not going to give you any set amount because we all like different amounts of salt and pepper. Mix it all up. Once again, make sure that everything is nicely distributed so that you don't end up with clumps of flavors on one side, and then add in the creamy part. Here we have the coconut milk, And you can see as soon as you add the coconut milk, it brings the level of the moisture or the water just up to the edge of the butternuts. This is exactly what we want. We don't want it to have too much liquid, and we don't want it to be too little. The liquid needs to just touch the tips, and as you can see there, bring it to the boil, put the lid on, let it boil for a little bit longer, and now is the wonderful Wonderbag step. Once you have brought the ingredients to a boil with the lid on, so the lid can also heat up, open up your Wonderbag, pop in your nice boiling liquid and hot pot into the middle. Get everything ready in terms of the position, fluff up your pillow, pop that on the top, close up your bag, and I'm using a big pot here, so you'll see that the lid doesn't fit really tightly. So once you've closed it, just tuck the pillow in around the edges so it creates a nice airtight little seal in the top. And then what I always do with my Wonderbag is tie a knot in the top just to pull it nice and tight to make sure that all that heat is held in properly and we get the best heating properties out of the Wonderbag. And while you're busy waiting for your 2 hours, then it's ideal to have any kind of bread on the go. In this case, I was making a batch of homemade ciabatta to go with the soup that I'm making. Once 2 hours have gone by, it's time to open up your bag and have a look at the ingredients. Now remember, this has been 2 hours in a bag, and when I open the lid, you're going to see how much heat is still inside this pot. It's just simply amazing how the Wonderbag retains heat and allows ingredients to cook slowly and infuse flavors over time. You can see how rich this liquid is looking, and pretty much all we have to do now is blend. You can blend it by hand, by NutriBullet, by food processor. Either way, blending is the next step. So now that we've spent about 2.5 hours on this delicious creamy butternut soup, all that's left to do is enjoy it. It's a beautiful, silky, smooth texture, smells delicious with that added coconut milk. And if you make your own homemade ciabattas like I have over here, and this recipe is definitely coming soon, then it makes the meal so much more hearty and so much more nutritious. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it out with your fellow cooks, sustainable homesteaders, whatever you want to call yourself. And please subscribe to my journey, where I'm going to continue to share Wonderbag related recipes and other recipes that relate to urban living, urban homesteading, and just generally whatever you can get from the garden into your body nutritiously, wholesomely, and as cheap as possible.